A nickname, says the proverb, is the heaviest stone the devil can throw at a man. Some wound and leave scars. Some stick like burrs. Others fall away and are forgotten. American presidents have attracted and endured nicknames ever since George Washington was called the Sword of the Revolution, Father of his country, the Sage of Mount Vernon, and, interestingly, the Old Fox. President Clinton will probably never entirely shed Slick Willie, a nickname draped on him by an Arkansas newspaper writer years before he reached Washington. But the Comeback Kid, the title Clinton awarded himself after finishing a surprising second in the 1992 New Hampshire primary, is likely to be equally enduring. It's a title Clinton retains for his two presidential victories, his tiptoeing through the landmines of scandal, and his acquittal in a Senate impeachment trial. Clinton seemed plainly to be relishing the symbolism of the Comeback Kid coming back again, the Washington Post's John Harris observed last month as he described Clinton's post-impeachment swing through New Hampshire. Presidential nicknames have been piling up for 2 centuries. 5 presidents were called accidental or his accidency because they gained office either by the death of the president they served as vice president or through other less than usual circumstances. Many presidential nicknames were plainly sarcastic. When John Adams insisted that Congress called President Washington His Highness, some senators, snickering behind their hands, dubbed Adams his rotundity. William Henry Harrison was a log cabin candidate before Abraham Lincoln, but was also widely known as Tippecanoe after his 1811 victory on a battlefield of the Indian Wars. Many people thought of Martin Van Buren as sly and foxy, the little magician, but finally, to his political foes he was Little Van, the used-up man. Andrew Jackson was Old Hickory for the tree so hard it resisted nails. Some Americans, trying to recycle the title, called James Polk Young Hickory. Zachary Taylor is still known as Old Rough and Ready, a reputation earned during the 1848 war with Mexico. Theodore Roosevelt will always be a Rough Rider, even though his cavalry regiment had no horses with them when they captured San Juan Hill. The president detested Teddy, even though he had been called Teddy as a boy. Lincoln survived many nickname salvos: Tyrant, Dictator, Destroyer of Liberty, Black Republican, the Illinois Baboon, the Original Gorilla. The Rail Splitters defenders, of course, could fire back with Honest Abe, Father Abraham, and the Great Emancipator. Lincoln's secretaries had their own nicknames for the Commander-in-Chief, the Ancient, and the Tycoon. In the 20th century, Americans remember the monosyllabic Calvin Coolidge as Silent Cal, and Franklin Roosevelt, the first of the alphabet presidents, as plain old FDR. To those who could not bear to speak his name, Roosevelt was that man in the White House. Dwight Eisenhower was Ike and President Truman was Give 'Em Hell Harry. Gerald Ford was just Jerry and John Kennedy was Jack or JFK. But Jimmy Carter became the first president to insist on using the diminutive form of his name at all times. He was Jimmy from backlot barbecues to state dinners. Slick Willie, by the way, has a somewhat shaky precedent. One of the more obscure nicknames thrown at William McKinley, the century's first president, was Wobbly Willie. In more recent times, Lyndon Johnson branded himself and everything near him LBJ. He was dubbed Landslide Lyndon for the thin and contested margin by which he won his first Senate seat. Richard Nixon endured Tricky Dick for much of his political career. Ronald Reagan, Dutch to his oldest friends, fared better as the great communicator.